Welcome to Out of the Box from Hudson County Community College. In these podcasts, we bring you timely discussions about education, people, programs, events, issues, and solutions that affect the education and enrichment of the people of Hudson County. I'm Chris Reber, president of Hudson County Community College and your podcast host. And today we have a really fascinating topic that we're going to be discussing. We're going to talk about a program recently established at Hudson County Community College to provide cannabis studies for individuals who wish to enter and work in the cannabis industry. And joining me today are Jessica Gonzalez, who's an attorney, a Jersey City attorney, a social justice advocate, and an instructor in our cannabis studies program. Thanks so much for being here, Jessica.
Thank you, Chris. Honored to be here.
And also we have two students that are pioneers, really, in our cannabis studies programs. We're delighted to welcome Sakima Anderson, who earned her Proficiency Certificate, her Cannabis Business Proficiency Certificate.
Yes.
Sakima, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And also with us today is James Warren, who's currently studying for the Cannabis Business Management Certificate at HCCC. James, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Reber.
So we're going to talk to each of these individuals who will offer perspectives on this program. Let me start by just providing a little recap. Hudson County Community College, of course, is focused on meeting the needs of our community. I often like to say that we take the word community in our title really seriously. So our mission is to provide opportunities for education, employment, quality of life for the citizens of Hudson County. And we all know that the cannabis industry is taking off. We have seen so much change in this whole area over the last few years, from possessing marijuana to other forms of being involved with marijuana being a crime, to now evolving as a society into not only the legalization and decriminalization of the use of marijuana, but the industry that will ensure that the product is safe and also distribute it. And this is providing huge job opportunities. There's incredible investment happening in this area. And so that means that this is an opportunity for Hudson County citizens and the people we serve. And we're also exceedingly proud to be a college that serves one of the most diverse student bodies in the nation. We are a proud Hispanic serving institution, and the vast majority of our students are the first in their families to attend higher education. They're coming from all kinds of life challenges that sometimes can get in the way of their finishing their degrees, such as working full-time while attending college full-time. Many of our students are enrolled in English as a second language. I'm amazed by the fact that a lot of students start here not speaking English at all and overcome that barrier and do exceedingly well. And our students come from some difficult financial challenges and a lot of others. So in doing the work of providing new credentials for individuals who envision and seek employment in this new industry, we're particularly focused on making sure that folks that we serve who aren't traditionally affluent, who aren't able to spend the money for expensive educational programming, who are traditionally underrepresented in our economy and in employment, the opportunity to benefit and to have the skills needed for employment in this fascinating growing industry. So 2 years ago, our college community decided we should really do what we can to help our students and those we serve have this new emergency set of opportunities. But we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know how to approach it. And this is one of the challenges and also one of the things that makes working in a community college so fascinating, because we're meeting every student where they are. We're providing a whole range of opportunities appropriate to the needs of the people we serve. And we have to work hand in glove with the community, with people that have the expertise to help us move forward with a program like this. So one of the early folks who came onto the scene and who's been instrumental in the growth and development of this program is Jessica. Jessica, I want to talk a little about you and what interested you in cannabis per se. You're an attorney here in Jersey City, very successful one. I know also a little bit about you. I know that you're an advocate for social justice, and there's a really nice fit between what I just talked about and I think your career interests. I also know that your mom is an HCCC alumna.
She is, yes, correct.
And so you're really family. And you have become well known for your expertise legally and beyond about all things cannabis. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I actually entered the cannabis space about 6 years ago. And one of the reasons why I entered the cannabis space is I think it's all about timing and also a little bit of luck. So I was in my first year of being an attorney, but I really wanted to work for something that I was passionate in. I've had a connection to the plant for over 13 years. And so when Governor Murphy decided he was going to run on his campaign of 2 W's, weed and wages, I thought this would be a really good way for a very young attorney to make a name for myself, be a leader in the space, and really help carve out the industry. But as soon as I got involved, what I did notice was that it was leaving and excluding aside folks that looked like I. People who came from the communities that I came from. So mainly Black, Latino, and Indigenous communities were being excluded from this industry despite the fact that we were the communities that were most harmed by cannabis prohibition. And so I entered the space both as an attorney but as a policy advocate. So I leveraged a couple of privileges that I had. So one, I spoke English, which a lot of people in my family still don't, a lot of folks from my community don't. I'm also an attorney, so I know how to defend myself. But 3, I'm a citizen of this country, and so I'm able to get involved in this industry where others who don't have citizenship status were not able to. And so I began to advocate and be very loud about making sure that if we were going to create this cannabis industry in New Jersey, that it reflected the diversity of New Jersey as well. And my work expanded from there, so I took a part in helping draft legislation, draft regulation. I was part of the Social Impact Committee of NJCAN. That was the coalition that pushed federal legalization forward. I began to assist applicants, so I've been helping applicants with licenses for over 4 years. And most recently, I was awarded the first state contract to build out the Cannabis Training Academy with the New Jersey Business Action Center. That's going to be the first state's technical assistance program for all those who are canna curious and also those who want to be entrepreneurs in the space.
That's incredible. And I know you've been honored by the New Jersey Business and Industry, NJBiz, as the next generation of leader for 2021. Congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And so you are one of the first faculty in our cannabis program here at Hudson County Community College. Tell us what you teach.
Correct. So I teach justice in cannabis. And so what this course is about the history of cannabis prohibition, the history of cannabis legalization, and also incorporating elements of social justice and social equity. So what I really wanted to do with my course, and I sort of laugh about it with my students, is you probably came into the course thinking that this was just going to be a simple history course. I was like, but it's actually a public speaking and advocacy course, so surprise. And what I wanted to do with the students was I wanted to make sure that they understood where we were, how we got here, and where we are going. Because part of my course is I really wanted to create folks who can advocate for themselves, for their community, for the industry. I felt that if I left the classroom knowing that they could advocate for themselves, then I did the job that I was supposed to do. And so part of my course was making sure that they also went out in the community. So a couple of their assignments was go out into the community, interview your community, ask them, why was cannabis made illegal in the first place? Did they know? And then the more that I taught them about how it became illegal, I said, now you're going to go out and teach folks how it became illegal, and I want you to record their responses. And then we did a couple of advocacy exercises as well, where they had to pretend that we were in a municipal hearing and they were advocating for a town to opt in to cannabis establishments as well. We went to a couple of, we went to a cultivation tour and a processing tour, so they were able to see what it actually looks like. And for their final presentation that hopefully you have forgiven me for, I brought in members of the Cannabis Regulatory Commission to act as judges for their final presentation, so they can also get a taste of what it's like to advocate in front of regulators, but also to see that these regulators are around our same age, they are human, and they're also here to help. And so it was also to help bridge that gap between regulators who seem to be, these sort of omnipresent presences, and students, and help bridge that gap.
I want to take your class. Really.
That was a surprise too. We didn't know it was going to be CRC folks like in the final exam. So.
And I can imagine just having that experience and developing that skill set, that's going to serve students well no matter what you do.
It was definitely awesome.
And so let me say just a little about what programs we offer here, and then I want to talk to our two students. So we have developed a menu of opportunities, and we're going to be continually refining what we offer, adding to what we offer as it relates to changing law and the development of the industry. We currently offer a whole range of non-credit workshops that are really designed to help individuals just get a basic understanding of what's happening in this evolving field. Short courses, open to everyone. And then we have several academic credentials that we've developed. Two certificates, academic certificates. One is a Cannabis Business Agent Proficiency Certificate. This is a 12-credit program that provides students with skills to secure entry-level employment, and it also just nests into our associate degree in business with a concentration in cannabis studies. And we also offer a longer-term certificate, the Cannabis Business Management Certificate, that provides students with skills to secure supervisory level positions. We're offering this coursework both here on the ground in person, and we are now moving to online coursework so that it's possible for virtually anyone who wants to have access to these programs to participate. And so we have two students, one who just completed a certificate, one who's currently pursuing one, both of whom took Jessica's classes. And Sakima, let's start with you. You recently completed the Cannabis Business Proficiency Certificate. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the program.
When I first started the program, I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't think that there was much to learn. But boy, was I wrong. I learned so much about about past experience of cannabis, where cannabis came from, and basically where it's going. I learned a lot about the advocacy part of it. I learned how to apply for the business certificates. I learned how to all about the strand itself, terpenes. I also received my OSHA 30 certification, ServSafe certification. So I learned a lot about cannabis that I had no idea I would know.
You're from Jersey City.
Yes.
And you're a mom, and you are a tax preparer.
Yes.
And you do that full time, as I understand it.
Yes, I've been preparing taxes since 2011. I started a while ago at Jackson Hewitt, and then I went off into my own business of preparing taxes.
And you also have some medical credentials.
I went to Harrison Career Institute for the medical, the medical certificate.
What attracted you to our cannabis program?
I was intrigued with the growing cannabis, so it was only a matter of time before cannabis became legal. So once it became legal, I thought it was a great opportunity. Once I found out about the program, it was groundbreaking.
You're an inspiration, and we'll be following you and wanting to support you in every way we possibly can.
Thank you so much.
And James already has a bachelor's degree that he earned at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, which is where I came from.
Yes.
And
412.
Yes, indeed, you have a degree in business management?
Yeah, that's correct. So I got my Bachelor's of Science and BA, Business Administration in 2014. I'm 31, born and raised in Metuchen, New Jersey, moved up to Jersey City for the last 6 or 7 years. What really got me interested in cannabis was I've just always been an advocate for the culture and for the actual plant itself, so descheduling and federal legalization. But early on in my life, my brother, similar to Sakima, was arrested for possession and intent to distribute. So he was a felon from there on out, has since got it expunged. But I've also had other friends from town. Metuchen's actually an impact zone, which is, like a classification, if you will, of municipalities in the state that were not the most egregiously affected, but were affected to a certain level. Mm-hmm. So I had other friends in school above and below me who were also either incarcerated or got charges associated with cannabis. So that's kind of really what got me into like the social advocacy piece of it, if you will. And I was lucky enough as a user and consumer to not get unlucky like that. But in September of 2022, I had a corporate life after my time at Duquesne University at various corporations and supply chain. But I was relieved of my duties in September of 2022 as part of a headcount reduction. And I just wasn't happy, I think, with the corporate rat race, if you will. And the commutes into New York and, type A personalities and being fake and things along those lines. So I was like, let me get into something I love. And I've loved cannabis forever and ever. So I think like a lot of millennials like myself, you go to Google and searching for answers, right? So I went to Google, cannabis studies, right? I always loved being a student. How do I get back into that environment? Then the first thing that popped up, having my location tracked on my computer, was Jersey City, Hudson County Community College. I got to the page, I saw the business management certification, thought it was right up my alley. I met Dr. Ara K, I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
Karakashian?
Thank you. Yeah. And Janine Nunez, and they mentioned the program and how to get involved. And then it was just like a rocket ship from there, meeting Jess, meeting Sakima, and sitting in class with all the other students, and meeting Jason Thomas, and the other name I'm gonna butcher, Eliza B-Rod, sorry, Brevard Rodriguez, something like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just been lightning fast since then. These folks have been so, willing's not the right word, nice. What's a synonym for nice? Have been great in opening up their Rolodex and their network. Because myself, I'm brand new. I'm a spring chicken. I got in 8 months ago or whatever. So for folks like Jess or Jason Thomas to open up their network to us, to introduce us to potential employers or ancillary services that I might want to be employed in, was just like completely, earth-shattering. It changed the trajectory of my career. And since September 22, I've had a job working in inventory in the back of the house, if you will, at Smacked Village in Greenwich Village in New York and Manhattan. And I've also accepted a position as an inventory manager at a dispensary in Maplewood, New Jersey, so just outside of Newark, with a company that I actually met at a Hudson County Community College event, Cannademics. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and how I got here.
That's all really excellent and helpful and interesting. We've had several big events with an organization called Cannademics and others. And one of the things that we're really committed to in this program, and frankly in all programs, is developing partnerships with organizations and people that actually can lead our students to job opportunities and other opportunities. And we really like to encourage the community to come in and interact with our students. And another thing we didn't mention about the industry is the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes. And I have personal experience here because my son is authorized to use marijuana. He has a medical marijuana card in Colorado, and he has some life challenges, health issues that cause him to use it, and it's incredibly helpful to him. And for him, just having the stigma of this released, lifted, has been really important to his own self-esteem. So that's another whole part of this. So James, what is your career goal or educational goal going forward?
Let me touch on the medical thing real quick. I remember I was at a conference and Leo Bridgewater was talking. It was in Trenton, and you might be able to speak justice to who Leo is. But but I was very new, and I was just looking into events, so I went and I heard him speak, and he talked about the medicinal effects and benefits, really advantages of using it for things like PTSD. So he's a former,
Which my son has.
there you go. So he's a former military, I'm not sure what branch or what have you, but very much advocating on behalf of veterans to use the plant to help with ailments like PTSD. And I think, once we get it descheduled and federally legal, then you can do the research and the studies to understand how much else it can be beneficial.
Right.
Okay, and your question was?
So where do you see yourself headed, both educationally and career-wise?
So I do love school. I love the school environment. I love sitting in class. I love, I was pretty chatty in Jess's course, Jason's as well. But I do love, I'm a product of my environment. So I do like to be sitting in a course room, not virtual either, and just like bouncing ideas off of each other, or like just being a sponge and learning, right? So in that light, I want to finish my certification for sure. There's only one course left I have to complete that. And then I'm taking my life very much day by day. But I do have the option to, continue the program for the 33 credits into the 2-year AS that you mentioned. And then even further, I'm not ruling out, transferring all those credits from the AS to LIM school in New York to finish the 4-year degree, if you will, for cannabis. So talk to me tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is all developed around building blocks or around a seamless pathway. So both of you can leverage what you've currently done to continue to move on to ultimately receive our associate degree, and then that transfers seamlessly to several schools already, and there will be more coming. So James mentioned LIM College in Manhattan, which has developed a business bachelor's degree in this area, and so all of our credits will seamlessly transfer into their business degree, and I think they're also offering scholarship opportunities for our students. We're also working with Stockton University that has developed a bachelor level curriculum, and these are beginning to now appear elsewhere. But we're proud of the fact that I believe we're the only community college in New Jersey, and one of the few really nationwide, that has developed our own curricula based on experts in the industry, as opposed to maybe partnering with programs that are already offered virtually by private proprietary institutions. We own these curricula and have developed them specifically to support the students that we serve. And Sakima, you, I believe, are thinking of continuing on for the associate degree.
Yes, in the fall, I plan on going for the business management, the Cannabis Business Management program. And then from there, I plan to apply for a cultivation license.
Fantastic. Very good. And Jessica, you're also involved, I think, on our Cannabis Advisory Board. You're helping us develop this program. Will you be teaching next year?
I will be, yes. And so I really love the in-person teaching. And when you were talking about, education and really helping to eradicate the stigma, it's going to help tremendously. I mean, I even had some students in our first class who would say, this is the first time I've been able to have a conversation with my family about cannabis.
Right.
I was the black sheep in my family. They never really accepted me. But now that they see that I'm taking a course and that I'm going to get a specific degree in cannabis, it makes it a lot, easier. And also, in terms of opening them up to my network and bringing folks into the classroom who are entrepreneurs or who are where they want to see themselves, in a year or two, it's really important because now when Sakima and James goes to events, people recognize them. I had the cannabis regulators from the commission come up to me and say, "Hey, I've seen your students around here." So they're also getting recognized now by government officials. But I think they should give themselves a little bit more credit because they are putting in that time and the investment in going to these networking events and making themselves known and telling their story. But it's also really amazing for them to say, like, I'm not just interested in cannabis, I'm learning about cannabis, I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in this community. And it's why I think they're taken a lot more seriously than folks who probably are just coming to the industry with very little knowledge about it, specifically because they're arming themselves with this education. So I think it's really important that we do continue the education, that it evolves as the industry evolves, because we're still barely scratching the surface of this industry. And I think that Hudson County Community College is poised so well and positioned so well to really take this curriculum and evolve it with the industry and to make sure that the students are prepared for whatever opportunities they're going to arise. Right now, we have 6 different types of licenses. We may have 12 at some point, down the road. We're going to have, our regulations are evolving constantly. Our laws are evolving constantly. This thing changes every single day. Like, we were in class and I would say, actually, something just changed. Actually, something just happened today. So it's really amazing to teach a course about something that is changing and happening in real time. I'm not even talking about history anymore. I'm talking about what's happening today.
Which is so exciting because you're really both pioneers. You're pioneers in this emerging, growing industry. And I can imagine you'll be able to leverage that in your own career pursuits in all kinds of ways. I know you have brought, Jessica, some folks from Trenton into the class, right, to hear students' presentations.
I have, yes. And really, the purpose with that was, one, to give them experience speaking, in front of regulators, but also there's always this disconnect and this distrust with government, especially in cannabis, right? And so we are asking the same folks who were harmed by cannabis prohibition by the government to now trust the government. And it's building that bridge that is tough. And so by bringing government into the classroom and seeing how the students can advocate, seeing, what their strengths are, seeing how they present themselves, it was really amazing to see that collaboration between regulators and students. Because now you're learning from them and their feedback so that should you ever have to appear before them or before a municipal body, you're now prepared because your first experience was with the big guns.
Just fascinating. You all are inspirational. We have a tradition in this podcast where I ask my guests at the end, if you could describe your Hudson County Community College experience in one word, what would that word be? Sakima, what would your word be?
Doctor, my word would be groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, Jessica?
My word would be bridge.
Bridge.
I have two. So I was thinking about a community for sure. I love how tight-knit the community is here. But I heard it mentioned a few times with everyone talking trailblazing.
Trailblazing.
We're trailblazing for sure.
All great words. My word's always inspirational. Thank you all for joining me today and for sharing your fascinating experience. And thank you for joining us for this session of Out of the Box. We hope you'll visit our website, hccc.edu, and share this podcast with your friends and family. And please stay safe and well. Thank you.